Hey everyone, my name is Nasrullah Babar and I am an incoming freshman at Stanford University where I applied as a chemistry major. A little bit more about myself. I am residing right now in Dhaka, Bangladesh, and I applied to the US this year as an international applicant, meaning that I am neither an US citizen nor am I an US permanent resident. I am a Bangladeshi citizen by birth. So, just for some context, before we start, what you need to understand is that all US colleges are either financial need blind or need aware in nature. Need blind admission is a college admission policy in which the institution does not consider an applicant's financial situation while making a decision regarding his or her admission. Need aware admission, on the other hand, is an admission policy where an applicant's request for financial aid does affect his or her likelihood of getting admitted. Stanford is need blind for all domestic students, basically the US citizens and permanent residents, but it is need aware for international applicants. This means that being an international applicant, whether or not you are asking for financial aid, is a factor during the admissions process at Stanford. But on a positive note, Stanford's financial aid policy is quite generous and it commits to meeting the full demonstrated financial need of all its applicants. So, if you do manage to get in, being an applicant who requires financial assistance, Stanford will give you all the aid you need. So now without further ado, what I'm going to do is start sharing my screen and walk you guys through the entirety of Stanford's financial aid website. So we are going to start off with the undergraduate basics section here because you guys will basically be applying as an undergraduate applicant. We're going to start with this part, which is how aid works. As I'm pretty sure you have noticed already, when you look at the right side of the website, what you can see that there are short video clips regarding each aspect of the financial aid process, starting from an overview of the CSS profile to how you can access your aid letter after you get your decision, and so much more. There's also an FAQ section beneath this where they discuss a lot of common questions or queries that applicants have had over the years. More importantly, if you scroll down through the website, you will see that at the bottom there is a section called Contact Us. So this basically gives you an option to contact the financial aid office via email or a phone call. And the good thing here is that they tend to respond quite quickly, even though they most likely deal with hundreds of emails and phone calls on a daily basis. So the first thing we're going to look at is this table, which says average scholarship / grant for the class of 2023. So when you look at this table, you'll see that it basically has all these income brackets that are stated, and they also show that the average scholarship and grant that the students in these income brackets receive, as well as the percentage of applicants who qualify for scholarship aid from Stanford. Now, this table is very accurate, but then again, what you need to understand is that the table basically shows the average scholarship and grant by income range for students whose families live in the United States. So basically this table is not exactly accurate when it comes to international applicants. So the next portion that we are gonna go to is the parent contribution part. Yeah, so remember when I said that Stanford's aid policy is really generous? So this page is a very clear example of that. So it says here that there will be zero parent contribution for parents with income below 65,000 US dollars per annum. Once again, what you need to understand is that these two policies are mainly for domestic students, But the amount of aid that international students whose parents earn a similar amount, meaning less than 65,000 US dollars per year or less than 150,000 US dollars per year. So international applicants whose parents earn a similar amount get get an amount which is quite close to like what is stated here. Maybe you will not get like zero parent contribution as an international applicant, but the amount of money your parents have to pay will actually be very, very less. Now, if you go to the next portion, which is student responsibility, the student responsibility section basically shows how you can cover a segment of your expenses, and it shows that by working for just 8 to 10 hours a week, you can earn around 3,500 US dollars at the end of the year. Now, this is basically because of the minimum wage, which is $15 per hour. And I personally think that this minimum wage is quite generous, and the amount that you can actually earn via on-campus employment is actually quite generous as well. And that is because the minimum wage in Stanford or California compared to the wage limit in other schools across the different states in the US is quite high. So yeah, I mean, this page basically talks about that on campus employment. The next part, which is independent students, this is for those very the minority of applicants who actually applies independent students. I mean, you qualify as an independent student if you are an orphan, a ward of the court, or have an extremely adverse home situation. So even though this scenario is not very common, but there are many applicants around the world who do apply as independent students. So this page is a very helpful resource for those students. Now we will be moving on to the most important part, which is international students. So this section shows that if you require financial aid, you must ask for it while preparing your applications to Stanford. You cannot, under any circumstances, ask for financial aid after you're admitted if you didn't ask for it before submitting your application. I mean, this is what they say in the first 2 or 3 paragraphs here. Another crucial thing to note here is the fact that you should not only think about the current year while deciding whether or not you need financial aid. If you or your parents think that you might need any sort of financial assistance in any one of the 4 years of your undergraduate career, you must ask for aid before you apply. Because what you need to understand is that if you don't, you cannot ask for any form of financial aid throughout all your 4 years at Stanford. So yeah, I hope I'm clear about this. Moving on to undocumented students. Once again, this is for a minority of applicants, but there are students who apply with an undocumented status. So this page basically shows the process for those undocumented students. The last part here is how you can actually estimate the cost of studying at Stanford. So for a quick ballpark estimate of your cost of attending Stanford, what you can do is you can use this proprietary estimator called MyIntuition. This basically shows, as it's written here, that this tool asks 6 basic financial questions and gives you an early estimate of the amount your financial or your family will need to contribute for 1 year at Stanford. So we are often confused regarding how much money we actually need to pay as an international applicant, or how much aid we might get given our family income, our assets, etc., etc. So this proprietary tool will actually help you get a reasonable estimate of how much financial aid you are likely to get from Stanford if you apply for it. So now we're going to go back to the undergraduate basics section and move on to the part called applying for aid. So as you can see here that there are different dates of submission for restrictive early action and regular decision applicants. But one thing that you should see here is that doesn't really matter whether it's regular decision or restrictive early action. The CSS, the deadline for submitting the CSS profile is actually a lot later than the deadline for giving in your actual application. So as you can see here that the priority filing date for the CSS profile is November 15, whereas the deadline for actually submitting the restrictive early action application is November 1st. And that's the same case for the regular decision pool as well, that if I'm not wrong, you need to submit your regular decision application by January 1st. However, you can actually file your CSS profile by February 15. So there's like I think it's almost more than a month after you submit your actual application. So you have a lot of time after you submit your actual application. You have a lot of time to actually fill in your CSS profile or your FAFSA and submit it to Stanford. Now, late applicants. What this section actually shows is that if you miss your priority filing date for your aid application, what will happen to you? So basically, what you need to understand is that if you do that, you still get financial aid, but there are a lot of caveats to this. As it says in the website here, that firstly, your award letter may not be ready until after the standard notification dates, which basically means around late March or the beginning of April. Secondly, the student responsibility portion of your award may be higher than the standard amount, meaning that you will basically be required to work harder and for a longer period of time on campus to earn your student responsibility amount. And third and most important of all, certain types of financial aid may no longer be available by the time your application is processed, meaning that you might be getting a lower amount than you were supposed to if you miss the priority filing date for your aid application. Once again, we will go back to undergraduate basics. Moving on to the third part here, which is the student budget. So the student budget basically shows the total amount that an undergraduate degree seeking student who did not ask for financial aid has to pay in a year. So according to the website, the total amount is $78,218 US per year. So, I mean, just as a reminder, I've already said this like a few seconds ago, this amount is applicable for students who are not getting any sort of financial aid. You as an international applicant, you as an applicant, you have to pay $78,218 US for your first year. However, if you do get financial aid, a lot of these expenses will be covered by the university. So a few things to note here is that firstly, international students, as far as I know, they pay a few $1,000s more because there are some extra fees associated within the budget. I mean, you will not pay $78,218 if you are an international applicant. You will pay a few $1,000s more, maybe around 80 or 81,000 US dollars. Secondly, as you get promoted to a different class year, the overall amount that you pay generally increases, meaning that this amount is basically for your first year at Stanford. As you progress throughout your undergraduate career at Stanford, when you get promoted from a freshman to a sophomore to a junior and so on, the overall amount that you pay increases by a bit. Yeah, so now what we're going to do is we're going to focus on the last part of the website, which is basically called types of aid. Basically, the gist of it is that domestic students usually have a slightly bigger and a more generous financial aid package than international students, within the same income bracket. And that's because domestic students have access to a lot more funding. As you can see, domestic students have access to federal grants, domestic students have access to state grants, and domestic students can also get federal loans. So overall, there is uh, access to a lot more funding as a domestic student, and that's why, like, when you compare a domestic student and an international student within the same income bracket, you will see that the domestic student is likely getting more financial aid. Yeah, that is basically what my financial aid application was all about. In retrospect, I do agree that the whole process may seem a bit stressful at first. I mean, it did so for me, but there are a lot of good resources online. And now, with a video like this, I hope that your journey will definitely be a lot more straightforward than mine was. So, if you want to watch more videos like this, stay tuned and subscribe to our channel right now. I wish you all the very, very best of luck for your application journey. And yeah, thank you for watching.